Nick Blanchard, otherwise known as Corn Pop on social media, you had a harrowing incident at the No Kings rally in Augusta where you were held at gunpoint by Augusta Police Department officers, escorted from the bridge. You were there, I guess, as counter-protest. It doesn't appear that you committed any crime or engaged in any behavior that warranted an arrest. Having reviewed the body camera footage and the police report that you obtained and published, it seems like even the officers who participated in your arrest have said they don't know why you were arrested. So, Nick, can you walk us through what happened that day? Why were you there at the No Kings protest in your capacity as a citizen journalist? And what happened?
So pretty much why I was there is, anyone that knows me, I'm really big about the First Amendment. So I wanted to make sure that, my First Amendment right was being exercised just like their First Amendment right was being exercised. So I showed up to exercise my First Amendment on the No Kings Day rally. And I was probably there for about 5 minutes before I was cuffed and stuffed in the back of an Augusta police cruiser. So pretty much what happened is, everyone knows that they were trying to shut down the Memorial Bridge. So they had both entrances from both sides of the bridge pretty much blocked off, filled up with people. So I found a spot somewhat in the middle of the bridge, and I started setting up. I had a friend drive her SUV. She stopped on the bridge. We unloaded my banner and everything else that I had. And she was supposed to drive to the CVS, park her car, and walk back and meet me on the bridge. And I was setting stuff up, and as I was setting stuff up, I carry what is called, it's called a burner launcher. It is a non-lethal form of protection. It shoots rubber projectiles that when they hit you, they have tear gas or mace, whatever you want to call it, in it.
Yeah, well, I'm familiar with them. If this was the Glenn Beck show, we'd be getting $20,000 to talk about the benefits of the Byrna. I'm familiar with them. It's what you carry when you don't want to have to defend yourself against, shooting and killing somebody, but you still want to be prepared for a self-defense occasion. But yours is yours the model that has orange on it, or is it a model that could be reasonably confused with a lethal firearm?
So mine is the all black that does look like a firearm, but even then, the protester that seen it as I was setting it up. Now I will say this: I was wearing a Halloween costume. The American flag suit that I wear at all my protests, it's a Halloween costume. Granted, so I had it in a case. I had it tucked behind me. Granted, we do live in a constitutional carry state, so even if I was carrying a real firearm, what I'm carrying isn't wrong. And just because I'm exercising my First Amendment right doesn't mean my right to carry a gun stops. But either way, I had it tucked right here behind me, and I'm bending over, I'm setting up my banner, and one of the protesters see it. And she yells out, "He's got a gun!" Even at that point, turn around, I look at her and I say, "It's not a gun, it's non-lethal." And I continue to set my stuff up. I see one of them start to call 911. 2 minutes later, APD shows up, shuts the bridge down. I'm held at gunpoint. They walk up to me. Now, as you said in the police report, it seems like every other cop had no idea what was going on except for Nutter. That's because when they walked up and they detained me, they realized, hey, this isn't a firearm. And they were all like, okay, cool. Then Sergeant Nutter walks up and he's like, we got to get him off the bridge. I respond to him with, I did nothing wrong. I'm not leaving.
You guys are screaming at me and I said something back, yes.
Let's get him off the bridge before this crowd turns on him.
No, I'm not leaving. I have every right to be here.
You are. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest.
For what?
Put your hands behind your back. Well, that's what I'm telling you.
Okay, I'll leave then.
You're under arrest. Put your hands behind your back.
Okay, what did I... Who am I under arrest for?
So then he goes, well, you're under arrest. And I'm like, for what? And he walks up and proceeds to put me in cuffs. And I'm like, well, if you're threatening me with arrest, then I'll leave on my own. And he goes, no, you're under arrest. And at that point, I'm getting patted down. They take off my body camera. They take away my phone. They take off my Apple Watch. And they leave it all on the side of the on the side of the bridge. As he's bringing me to the car, I'm asking several times, what am I being arrested for? You can hear the other cop say, Nick, I have no idea what's going on. And I'm like, well, can he answer me? Still nothing. I asked if I can even grab my phone so I can let someone know what's going on, and they don't let me grab my phone. He throws me in the back of the car, and as he's buckling me in, I'm still asking, hey, what's going on? What am I being arrested for?
What am I getting arrested for? What am I getting arrested for?
Face it away.
What are my charges?
Face away from me.
What are my charges?
Well, you know at the station.
And Nutter, at that point, says, I'll let you know at the station. So then I get in the car, and the entire way to the station, I'm asking the cop that's driving me to the station what's going on. He proceeds to tell me, Nick, I have no idea. Nutter was the arresting officer. I'm just transporting you. I'll let you know at the station. So then we get to the station, and he leaves me in the back of the cruiser inside the garage, gets out of the cruiser, and starts calling all the other officers at the scene. Hey, what are we arresting this guy for? What's going on? No one knew what was going on. So then he comes in and gets me out of the cruiser and says, we got to wait for Nutter to get here, and brings me into the waiting room. At that point, we're waiting for Nutter to come. Nutter finally shows up. He walks in the first time and says, I'll be with you in just a minute. And then at that point, it's me, it's the officer that transported me, and the female officer. And the female officer is like asking me if I have any PFAs or any reason why I shouldn't be able to carry what I was carrying. So at that point, they were now looking for something to charge me with because they didn't have anything to charge me with.
Show me the man. Show me the man. I'll show you the crime. They're looking to invent a predicate and hoping they're too lazy to. Sorry, they're too lazy to find the predicate and fake the reason that they arrested you. They have to ask you to tell on yourself.
Yeah.
Like that, if you're gonna frame somebody for a crime, at least be smart about it. Be a little stealthy.
Mm-hmm. So then, about 10 minutes later, Nutter walks in. And at that point, as soon as he walks in, I stand up. He starts taking the cuffs off me. I ask him, I say, am I under arrest? He's like, no. And at that point, I'm a little upset. I'm asking him for an apology. Because now the left got exactly what they wanted. They got pictures, videos of me getting thrown in the back of a cop car. Thinking I got arrested. There's all these videos. Crash Barry, who you're very familiar with, has already made several. He's done his little Crash Barry report and all that, talking about how I was arrested because I was waving a gun. Which
yeah. So
I
first,
never waved.
I think to grant, I guess, to give some context to people who might not be familiar with your activism, I think it's safe to say you're probably the best known conservative activist in Kennebec County. You've worn the Uncle Sam American flag costume at public events that you were wearing at your counter protest for the No Kings rally. You've been in several viral videos about the Augusta School Board protesting the Maine Principals Association and the Augusta School Board's stance on forcing female athletes to compete against male athletes who think that they're women. So very likely you're known to at least a not insignificant portion of the leftists who are at this No Kings rally. They knew who you were and could easily identify you from a distance. Crash Barry is this 350, maybe 400-pound marijuana addict who pretends to be an investigative reporter, but has harassed you from job to job. That you've been and you've been fired in some cases from jobs as a direct result of this just massively, grotesquely obese human being calling your employers and in some cases lying about your substance use, falsely telling an employer of yours that you sold drugs to a minor. So just helpful context about this seriously, grotesquely, unfathomably fat human being who has harassed you and now commented on your arrest here that we're talking about.
Yeah. And so at that point, I asked him for an apology, and he proceeds to tell me that he's not going to apologize and asks if I want his reasoning for doing what he did. And I told him no. And at that point, I told him I was going back to the bridge because I did nothing wrong. He tries to tell me I'm warned for disorderly conduct, which I don't know where he would warn me for disorderly conduct, because as he's placing me under arrest, what he gave me a disorderly conduct for, the entire people on the bridge was doing, screaming at me, cussing at me. I mean, you can see in the police body cam where one of the leftists walk up and literally get right in the police's face and start screaming at me and pointing at me.
When it comes to disorderly conduct, I had to note when I was reading through the police report of the officers other than Officer Nutter, there were several people who noted that Blanchard, you, Nick, you were not engaged in any resistance, that when the firearm was drawn on you and you were interacting with the police, you complied with all instructions. You showed no signs of resistance. There's multiple times in the police report they say that you were totally, responding to their instructions and simply inquiring as to why you were being arrested, and verbally a little upset that you were being arrested, and they wouldn't explain to you why, as I think anybody would be. Any reasonable person would have that same reaction. But there's no sign of any resistance to arrest documented in the police reports filed after the fact.
No, I mean, these people forget we're the guys that support these guys. We're the guy. I mean, I've held several Back to Blue rallies in the past 4 years, and meanwhile, they're pandering to the same people that spit in their face, to the same people that want to defund them. I don't get it.
So in looking at Officer Nutter's version of events, and hearing some of the conversation in the body cam footage that you obtained through a Freedom of Access Act request and published on social media, Officer Nutter's story here is that he took you off the bridge because of fear of what the leftists might do to you. What's your response to that rationale?
My response to that is like me going to work and sitting on my phone all day and doing absolutely nothing. That's taking the easy way out. If I wasn't the one being violent, why am I being the one cuffed and stuffed? If you're worried about the other side being violent, why weren't you, making sure they weren't going to act violent? And to me, like I said, that excuse is invalid. Because, yeah, you cuffed and stuffed me so that the mob wouldn't turn on me, but you left a single mother on that bridge by herself with my stuff. And then when she asked for a ride to her car because she didn't want the mob turning on her, Augusta PD told her no. They made her walk to the end of the bridge to her car. So that excuse to me is invalid.
So for fear of the safety of the minority conservative activists at the protest, they took you into custody and arrested you, but not the person who they very well knew was your associate, your co-conspirator in the terrorizing that they allegedly arrested you for. Clearly by the police report, they knew that a driver of a black SUV had been reported driving past the area with an American flag, which is apparently a reason why a leftist calls 911 these days, is if there's a display of an American flag, which is just mind-boggling that they're not being investigated for filing a false police report or just called out for wasting police officers' time. But they knew that this woman was your associate and was with you, and she asks for the same protection that the Officer Nutter has decided to very graciously to bestow on you, and they deny her an escort. They won't let her accompany you.
No, they won't. No, not accompany me, because I was already gone before she could even make it back to the bridge. So when she got to the bridge, she was walking to the bridge to a bunch of police cars and me already gone, trying to figure out where I'm at. And then they were like, well, he's at the police station. He's arrested. Here's his stuff. And she's like, well, can you give me a ride to my car? And they told her no.
So very clear that you were arrested for the wrong reasons. There was no probable cause to arrest you. It seems like under pressure, the Augusta Police Department made decisions that were not rooted in law. You were wrongfully arrested, and the Heckler's veto prevailed. And as a result, your free speech was trampled on, and you were denied your right to engage in peaceful counter-protests during the No Kings rally. So what recourse do you have now, and what does justice look like for Nick Blanchard?
So I did seek representation, and someone that we both know very well, Mark, and we're going to try to do this peacefully. We're going to try to do this the right way, and hopefully we can get through this without it being a hefty lawsuit, and just making sure that the First Amendment still exists here in Augusta, just like I had to do with the Augusta School Board. You know, it seems like I keep having to fight for the First Amendment here in Maine.
And so how do you balance something, I guess, the tension between, as you said at the beginning of the interview, coming from a perspective or a side of the political spectrum that is pro-law enforcement and typically has cops back, now having been subjected to a wrongful arrest and having to contemplate litigation against the police department. How do you manage that tension, and has this changed how you feel about law enforcement, or back in the blue?
No, so I still 100% back the blue, and me and you are friends. If I walk in your house and I break your lamp, guess what? I'm still responsible for fixing your lamp, and they broke the lamp, so they got to fix the mistake that they made. It doesn't mean that it has to be me now all of a sudden hating the police and not backing the blue. They made a mistake. I deserve a public apology. That means more than a giant lawsuit. A public apology saying that they were wrong. But
what about a statue? What about a statue somewhere on the bridge of you? Would you accept that as in lieu of legal fees?
That'd be awesome. But no, man, I want to see the First Amendment stay strong here in Augusta, whether it's at the school board, whether it's someone protesting on the bridge. I just want to see our rights, our liberties be upheld and not be trampled on because you don't agree with them.
You are an advocate for a couple of candidates in the most recent Augusta School Board election. Elections didn't quite go your way. Do you think that your efforts were helped those candidates, or do you think that the arrest and some of your tactics were counterproductive in the Augusta School Board District? And how do you plan to navigate the future of Augusta local politics?
So I don't think the arrest did anything towards the Augusta School Board as far as the election. I think why the election went the way that they did, I'll be honest, we need to start pointing fingers where the fingers are pointing, and it's us. There's a reason why we keep losing elections. There's a reason why the Dems keep winning, and it's because they know how to get people out to vote. And, this whole transgender thing, that's an 80-20% issue. But I think that question 1 on the ballot is what really, they voted for that, and they most Dems will vote D all the way down, and I think that's what happened. And I also think with the whole Ward 4 where we had 2 people splitting the vote, that really hurt us. But you want to know what my plans for the Augusta School Board is? I'll say it right now. I know it's a little early, but I will be running in 2026 for the at-large seat that Charles Hicks' seat is up. It is early, and I am announcing early for the simple fact is I know that they think they have all the momentum right now they got every seat on the school board right now except for 1. So if they think I'm going to slow down, if they think I'm going to stop, I'm not. And I'm going to get my name out there now. And in 2026, I hope I am sitting on the board with James Orr, protecting the young girls here in Augusta.
Nick, if people want to find you on social media, if they want to find you on X, Facebook, see more of your content, or if there's other people in the conservative media who want to get a hold of you and see if they can interview you, how can people get a hold of you?
You can, at my X account is PWA1776. I'm on Facebook, Nicholas. My last name is spelt a little different because I am banned from having a Facebook. So it's BLANCHRD. You can email me at nickb926@gmail.com. And that's pretty good ways of getting a hold of me.
All right, fantastic. Well, I appreciate you talking with us. I'm sorry for the harrowing ordeal that you experienced, but I'm glad that you didn't have to use your burna, and I'm also glad that you weren't shot. You know, when a police officer draws a firearm, the adrenaline that's coursing through their veins, there's always inevitable. I mean, there is the chance that something awful is going to happen, and that someone is going to get hurt or killed. So I'm glad that the police, though they didn't behave perfectly in this situation, at least had restraint enough not to use their firearm against you, because the result of the phone calls, the false claims made against you by leftists who dialed 911 and precipitated this entire altercation, could have resulted in you being shot or seriously harmed.
And that's why I say it is always important to not resist, to comply. Even when you know the police are in the wrong, comply. Fight that fight another day so that you can wake up that next morning.
It's a smart mentality. Well, Nick Blanchard, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us. And good luck with your future political activism. Hopefully you can stay out of handcuffs.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Godspeed, and vote David Jones for governor.